Hey guys, welcome to this video today. I'm sorry I didn't post a video on Friday. I was actually away for the weekend, so I only got back yesterday evening. So to start off, I'm going to talk about the start of the season and obviously the disastrous start by Arsenal. I didn't actually see the game because, like I said, I was away for the whole weekend with the wife, so I kind of had to, look at my iPhone and updates. But I had friends who were at the game at the Emirates, so got a pretty decent kind of picture of what actually happened. So let me start off by saying that obviously we lost 3-1. It's not a great start to the season. I'm not sure we need to get carried away and start the whole Wenger out crap that I've seen and I've read. It requires some kind of level-headed thinking. Now, it's not a great start. We lost 3-1 at home. Losing at home is unforgivable in this league. Secondly, letting 3 goals in, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I know there were some ridiculous decisions by the referee as well. I'm not, like I said, I've not seen the match, but from what I've read and from my friends who were at the match, they said that the kind of 2 penalties and red card was unbelievably harsh for Arsenal, and Aston Villa could have had a player themselves sent off, so it seemed a bit one-sided, and so that is obviously the first thing I wanted to get off my chest. But that still doesn't excuse the kind of performance that we kind of generated. It's a home game. It's the first home game of the season, and you should be winning these realistically. I mean, we've got Fulham away next, which is they've won 1-0. Not an easy place to go. It's our first London derby of the season, and it's a place we have struggled in the past. It's one of these grounds that away from home is quite difficult. The one thing I have noticed in recent years is that we are playing better away from home. I'm not sure what the reason is. We kind of have more freedom almost. There's like less pressure than when playing at home, and I think another factor that is the fans. The away fans are very different to home fans. I've seen it because I've been to away matches and I've been to home matches, and the kind of away fans are the militant fans, the hardcore, the guys who make the noise, the guys who are fans, the guys season ticket holders, they're AST members. They know the club. The generations of fans in one family. So these guys are very unique. Whereas when you're watching Arsenal at home, you can be surrounded by a lot of kind of day trippers, fans who come and see the club for the day. A lot of foreign fans, which there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just saying that there is a slightly different atmosphere when you see these 2 different very distinct groups, and that's not just Arsenal. I've seen that across a lot of football clubs. I've been to quite a few grounds around the UK, and I've seen it at Manchester United. I've seen them when they've played at Highbury in years gone by, and their away fans are much more vocal than the home fans. Even at a ground like Old Trafford, which is supposedly one of the loudest stadiums in England. I was quite surprised actually at the lack of noise when I was there. But it's an interesting debate. The second thing I wanted to talk about was, obviously fans are calling on Wenger to spend money. We have a lot of money. I'm reading that we've got something along the lines of 154 million in cash reserves, and to put that in some kind of context, if you combine the cash reserves of every single team in the Premiership, we are 154 million. The combined total is 181 million. So we're only like something like 30 million, behind the combined total of the Premier League. So there is plenty of money with the club. Wenger has said that it has been hard to find players, and it is. I've got friends that are football agents, and it's not easy to get deals. completed. There's a lot of individual parts, that make up the whole. You've got both clubs have to agree a fee. The player has to agree a salary, and that in itself, a contract is quite difficult sometimes. I've seen specific contracts that are very complicated with the various clauses and bonuses and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got medicals and all that kind of stuff, and relocating families. So it is a big move. It's not as easy. People kind of imagine it to be when they're playing Football Manager or something like that. There's a lot more that goes into it, especially on the ground. But saying that, there are clubs that are making a lot of transfers. Aston Villa, signed 6 players. Sunderland have signed something like 9 players. It's not impossible. I personally believe we've had at least 2 or 3 realistic targets that we've missed out on. I've covered it in these videos. I think Higuain was a deal that we could have done easily. In the end, he signed for 34 million. So, that was something. I think we offered 28. So, for 6 million, we missed out on a world class, player. In my opinion, he's a world class player. I mean, look at his stats. So that is disappointing. And I agree with him to some extent, but I also think that there are deals, realistic deals to be done out there. I'm not expecting us to go out and sign Messi, but I'm expecting us to do a little bit better than sort of French players on a free. The kind of sub point to that is that I think the board aren't doing enough to secure deals. It can't all be down to Wenger. The manager will identify targets, and then it's up to the board, the team, the finance team to then make the deals happen. And I don't think that he's getting the support that he needs to get these players in. And obviously that was very different when David Dein was there, because I think between them they completed something like 120 odd deals, in the 7 or 8 years they were together. So actually it's probably more than that. Probably about, probably 10 years. 10 years. I can't remember when David Dein left, 2008 or 9, something like that. So over 10 years, they bought and sold players. And going back to David Dein, he made deals happen. If Wenger wanted a player, he'd go out and buy that player. And we were, realistic targets, we would get them. So I think we're missing that David Dein factor. I'm not been impressed with Gazidis at all. I don't know how he justifies his position at the club. A lot of the decisions were made before he came in, so I don't think he can take credit for the new stadium, the finances. That was all built up by Ken Fryer, David Dein, Danny Fisman, and these guys were Arsenal fans. They're all. I mean, David Dein is an Arsenal fan. He's been in the area. He's grown up in that area. He's been a fan all his life. He lives in that area. Same with Danny Fisman, Londoner, Arsenal man through and through, and they kind of they are part of the fabric of the football club, and I think that's what's missing, and I think that's where Wenger's being let down, and I think he needs more experienced football men around him to help him, help him kind of manage the football club, manage expectations and ambitions. I mean, on the pitch, he's ultimately responsible for what happens, but I don't think you can put too much blame on him off the pitch. He doesn't run the board, he doesn't run transfers. And, I'd like to see a change there. I'd like to see other people step up, or, bring in more experience, at board level, but bring in more experience at board level. People like David Dein. I'd love to have David Dein back, to be honest with you. I think he's, he's the kind of missing link to getting these, major deals done. And I think, obviously, Danny Fisman's passed away now. He died a few years back. But if we can get kind of more passionate, committed people like them back into the football club, instead of just non-footballing executives, then I think we can make strides. We do need. I don't think it's a revolution that we need. We just need evolution. We just need a change in our policy of buying players. We need a change of how we approach that off the pitch and on the pitch, and I think that's what I would like to see. I have read a couple of letters from the Arsenal Supporters Trust and one from the Black Scarf Movement, who they're the guys that want their Arsenal back. An open letter to Gazidis, and I kind of if you haven't seen it, there's copies of it online on the Guardian website, and go on Twitter, just follow these guys. I kind of agree with everything they're saying. You know, they don't. You know, they're not. All they want is the club to invest the money that they have built up. You know, the wealth, and buy players, build up squad depth, and bring in that, you know, the 2 or 3, you know, world class players ready to take that club to the next level. At the moment, we have got a crisis. We've got, you know, we've let go of something like 27 players in the summer, and we've recruited 1. And you know, we are, you know, as soon as the injuries pile up, which they have, you know, then we're going to struggle. I'm already reading that Oxlade-Chamberlain might be out for the whole season because he'd done his knee ligaments, medial knee ligaments, if I can say, and you know, there's a potential of him being out for the whole season. You know, we're looking at least maybe 6 months. So that's a very young, influential player. You know, what we're going to do. So that's what I wanted to cover today. I wanted a level head. I don't want, you know, kicking and screaming. You need to put it into some perspective. It's only 1 game, and the window's still open. So, you know, Judge Wenger, once the window is closed, and we've played a few more games, okay? There is a qualifying this week. We're playing Fenerbahce away, which is a very difficult ground to go to. We have played them in the past. It's a very hostile place. So, you know, I'll hopefully get some more updates for you this week. You know, there's a few players that we are linked with, like 2nd and 3rd bids. Nothing concrete or reliable, but as soon as I hear something, I will let you know on the next video. So I'll see you tomorrow, and just leave me a quote as usual.